Let's go back to the green bond issue that we had this week. It was the very first of its kind in Africa, West Africa, the sub-region, and this is the very first climate financing issue that we can have in Nigeria as well. It is known as the sovereign bond. But then we had the DG of the Debt Management Office and the Minister of State for Environment, Mr. Ibrahim Jubril, on the trading floor addressing traders on the benefits, the objectives, and of course, the need for traders to key into this platform. Now, let's listen to that.
We want to say we're extremely delighted to be here and also honored by the presence of His Excellency, Mr. President, represented by the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Environment. I think the opportunity of listing the bond today represents a journey that started some time ago and involved several parties working together to make it happen. So we're grateful to all the parties that worked with us to issue the bond. As you all know, the Debt Management Office is the government's agent for issuing securities. So we're happy to have worked extremely closely with the Federal Ministry of Environment to put together this bond. And we're also very happy that we're able to issue a security that we can say for this exact amount that was raised on behalf of the federal government, which represents part of the public debt, that these are the specific projects that the proceeds are going to, because it is useful for us to be able to say borrowed funds were properly utilized, but even more than that, that they were used for capital projects. And again, our expectation when we issue securities like that, in this instance, the green bond is our first green bond and also the first green bond in Africa. And from what we understand, it is the fourth to be issued, across the world. Obviously, some amounts are larger, but this is our first time, and we are grateful for the support we have received from all stakeholders. I think what is unique about the bond, one of the unique features of the bond, is this has to do with climate change. It is true that we borrow to fund various capital projects and various other, activities of government, but this is unique because we are at a time when there are environmental issues all across the world, and Nigeria is no exception. So we're glad to be able to issue the debut sovereign green bond for the purpose of financing projects that help us preserve our environment and protect it. And our charge to operators like yourselves in the market is that we expect the bonds to be liquid. So investors have invested in the bond and they expect to see some trading so as to encourage them to invest again. So we expect to see that support from the distinguished stockbrokers. Many of you have been trading for a while, so we expect to see your support in that area. And then finally, the federal government is only in this capacity acting as a pioneer. As some of you would know, we typically will come up with new products in the domestic market and in the international markets for the purpose of financing government, but also to sort of go through that first process that is usually difficult and tough so that it becomes easier for state governments and for corporates to follow the same path. So we expect that for some of you that are advisors around here, will be able to work closely with your customers who are corporates or state governments to be able to do the same thing in the interest of the entire republic. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DG. Let me invite the Honorable Minister for Environment to give a quick goodwill message.
Thank you very much, CEO. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor and privilege for me to stand before you this afternoon to represent the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, who has shown in no small measure his green climate credentials. The President is on record to be the only President so far that has helped the Ministry of Environment immensely. Last year, we had about 3 instruments, international treaties that were ratified by the President. And this is no small measure because all of them had to do with environmental issues as well as climate-related activities. So it's no surprise that we've gone into the capital market and issue the green bond, and today we are making another history by listing it into the Nigerian Stock Exchange. We thank the management team of the Nigerian Stock Exchange for collaborating and cooperating with us. And by the way, they initiated this in the very beginning, brought up the proposal, and we grabbed it. We saw an opportunity, and with the active support of the Federal Ministry of Finance through the Debt Management Office, today we are here to list this instrument in the capital and the stock exchange. This is a significant milestone, and we believe it will be replicated. This is just the beginning. It's a modest start, but we're encouraged by what we have seen, and we believe we can do more. We are harvesting other products from the other MDAs, and I believe before the year runs out, the Debt Management Office will come up with a program where we'll go to the capital market to do another issuance.
Now let's get a breather with this short break. We're back in a moment.